Aggies.
Merrill for the lead. He's got it!
The Jazz.
Stockton, open three. Yeah!
The high schools.
Balsa's going to take it on the quarterback draw. He's to the 30, the 25, makes the move to the 20, 15, 10, 5. He's into the end zone.
If it's the sport you care about, we're talking about it.
Number 4 of my best non-sports sports, wife carrying.
It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric Franson with you here on a Thursday. Beautiful day today. Beautiful day for some baseball. We got some baseball playoffs just getting started. We got 3 games taking place here in Cache Valley. Well, in northern Utah, I should say that. This is Bear River is hosting Skyview today, right now. Rod Zundel, our good friend, Rod, is calling that game. It's streaming on CacheValleyDaily.com. Also broadcast on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. On 104.5 The Ranch in Cache County, it's Ridgeline hosting Hurricane from Region 10. And on 107.7 KLZX, Hurricane John Newbold and Ajay Salveson calling the game for the Mountain Crest Mustangs and the Green Canyon Wolves. So these games just getting started right now. Through the show, we'll do some live look-ins and see how these games are progressing. Logan Grizzlies, they are down in southern Utah. And I believe they're taking on Snow Canyon. So we'll try to provide some updates on that when we can and what's going on with these games. Regional F1 track meet started yesterday. It continues today. Great gallery of that from what took place yesterday at Ridgeline High School. And also gallery just shared with us from our friends at St. George News for the 4A Girls Golf Championship that was taking place down in southern Utah as well. So a lot going on with high school sports here on Cache Valley Daily, on local radio. We'll talk about it here on The Fan. But always love to have you chime in as well and follow along and to chime in on what's going on. And thanks for listening, wherever you might be, whether it's on the 106.9 The Fan, on the FM dial, 1390 AM, on the AM dial. If you're listening on a mobile app, 106.9 The Fan mobile app, or streaming us on your desktop, 1069thefan.com. We appreciate you having us along with whatever it is that you're doing. And that you can also listen to our past episodes, past podcasts, interviews that we've done there. And so a lot of stuff that can be found on our website. And speaking of things to listen to, recaps, you listen to the whole archived game, or games, I should say, of the Region 11, 4A boys soccer semifinal and final. Jake Ellis called both of those games. We've got the archived audio for that on our website. Coming up next week, working on some interesting interviews as the athletic season is winding down for high school. There are already organizations gearing up for next season, and one of those organizations is the people that take care of the officials and officiating, and they need help. As you could imagine, it's kind of a challenge to get officials for a lot of these sports, and it's becoming harder and harder, more and more complicated. And so we're going to have one of these lead officials joining us next week, and he'll be talking a little bit more about what the requirements are, who they're looking for, how you can help out, how you can give back, and also working on an interview with John Hartwell, the athletic director for Utah State. And I sent the request earlier in the morning, and I already had some ideas in mind, things I wanted to talk to him about with like scheduling proposals, the health of the Mountain West, some things like that have been kicked around from other conferences, and just get his perspective on it. And then later in the day, after I'd already sent the request and we started working on when he could come in, news is released from Utah State and BYU that their football series will discontinue, and that future games that were on the schedule have now been canceled. So the last game in the near future will be Thursday, September 29th. And BYU will begin their affiliation with the Big 12 in 2023. But after that, the 4 games that were scheduled through 2026 have been canceled. According to a release from Utah State University, the two schools were scheduled to face each other 4 more times, but the contract contained language in it that would void that existing agreement based on conference affiliation. And now that BYU is going into a conference, that's their out clause, and so they're enacting it. And we've seen them cancel other future games that were on their schedule. As an independent, they were locking up all kinds of schedules to fill their schedule. And now that they're going to have conference games going on, they're backing out of those. And so that is now including Utah State. So got a comment from John Hartwell in the release on that. We'll get to that. Want to get your reactions to it as well. Are you fine with this announcement? Does it bother you that the series is coming to a close? Do you wish that they could find some way to work it out, or is it time to move on anyway? We'd love to hear from you on our Guild Mortgage text line, 435-339-0321, if you want to chime in. And 9315 says, I think a good group of YBU fans don't realize how they are not realistic with their sports takes. 1984, for example, means 2022 national championship. Yeah. They are unrealistic in a lot of their takes. And 5452, tune into that Mountain Crest game and you'll find out. It's going on right now. But with John Hartwell, in his reply to this announcement today, he says, and I quote, Utah State and BYU have a long-standing history of annual competition on the football field, and our goal is to continue the rivalry. He says, while we are disappointed to see the series go away for now, we are committed to working with BYU to find scheduling opportunities in the future. So these two teams have faced each other a lot, like 90 times, going back to the early 1920s. It's a rich history with the two teams facing each other. It has been more competitive over the last 10 years than it was the previous 20. And so it's been a healthy rivalry between the two schools. And as 9315 kind of pointed out, the BYU fans have some unrealistic memories or expectations of their program and will hang on some previous iterations of the rivalry and try to claim that it's not. And it's been one-sided. But it looks like, if you look at the more recent history, it's been much more competitive, and it has been back and forth. 9315, looks like you missed my first 2 texts. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. See, I hope we beat YBU this year by 2 or more touchdowns. We would leave a statement win stamped in their brain like a nightmare until we play again if it happens. Oh, okay, there we go. Yes, YBU can be very frustrating at times. Thank you for getting me back on track with your earlier texts, 9315. Yeah, look, there's been a very vocal group of BYU fans who has been lobbying to dump the Utah State series for a long, long time. They perceive themselves as a national brand who should only play national powers every week, and that they can compete on that level. And some years they can compete on that level. Some years they really can't. But the in-state rivalry is good for scheduling. It's good for travel. It's good for recruits. It's good for a lot of participation throughout the state, bragging rights. So I think the series should continue. I applaud John Hartwell in being committed to finding a way to make it continue to happen. But I think we all kind of saw this coming once that announcement became official that they were going to change and go to the Big 12. Because their opportunity for non-conference games becomes a lot more limited. And who do they put in there? How does that affect the Utah rivalry? Boise State has already been affected. They had several games scheduled out in the future with the Broncos. And I felt like Utah State would probably be the more safe, but apparently today that has become untrue. So I'm of the opinion that I'd love to see the series continue. I don't know in today's environment, especially with BYU and with their new conference affiliation, that it can be an every year thing. Your place 1 year, our place the next, and vice versa. But it would be great to get some kind of a schedule going again so that a player during the course of his potential 4 years on a campus, though that's become a rarity today anyway, but in the course of 4 years on a campus at Utah State or BYU would have a home game and an away game at the venue. So every other year would be ideal considering the circumstances. I don't know that that's even going to happen, but we'll see. It's definitely, scheduling is going to be really different anyway with if more conferences dump, divisions as being proposed. And we'll get into that here in just a little bit. The ACC has revealed their preferred scheduling model. Is that something the Mountain West could look at? But how is that going to affect non-conference scheduling anyway? So we'll look at that. But how do you feel? I mean, what's your reaction to the announcement today that BYU is getting out of its upcoming 4 games beyond this fall? They were under contract to play the Aggies through 2026, and now they're backing out of it. And so what's your reaction to the news today? Are you happy with that? Gives Aggies different opportunities for scheduling? Or is that something that's disappointing? Because once the Utah rivalry regular schedule went away, it's never really been back. And will the BYU situation follow a similar path? 435-339-0321 if you want to weigh in on that. And got the story on CashValleyDaily.com if you want to be able to go read that and see John Hartwell's statements on that. And as a reminder, working on getting him next week to talk about that and a bunch of other things. But one of the things, too, to discuss is, as mentioned, with this conferences across the country are re-examining if they want to hold on to divisions and if they should just find a way to pick the top 2 teams to play in the conference championship game. Now, how that's determined hasn't been laid out. Just, hey, let's get the top 2 teams. But we've seen, I went through this with you the other day, that there have been years when there were 3 teams in the Mountain West who all had 7-1 conference records. So you have to have tiebreakers, certainly, but do you look at the college football playoff rankings as your determining factor or something similar to that? But there'd have to be some way to determine who your top 2 teams are, but without having the top team from one division facing the other team from the other division. But what the ACC is proposing in their scheduling front is what they're calling a 3-5-5 model. So you'd have 3 opponents as permanent scheduling partners annually. So you'd have the 3 teams that you think are your best conference rivals. Or maybe it's geographic reasons that make more sense. But whatever the conference wants to determine, your 3 games as regular teams that you will face, you'll have those 3 as automatics on your schedule every year. And then the other 10 would be rotating. So you'd have 5 one season, 5 the next. So the ACC has 14 teams. So that would make up the 13 other conference teams that you would play. And really, essentially, you'd be able to play every other league team twice in a 4-year span. Mountain West Conference, if we followed a similar logic, your 3 automatic teams on a permanent scheduling basis, and then you'd have 4 1 year and 4 the next. And Wake Forest Athletic Director John Curry, according to a report, said this maximizes the opportunities to have great matchups while also ensuring that players face every other league team in their career. ACC is really weird because you've got teams like Wake Forest and North Carolina who basically had to schedule a non-conference series in 2019 and 2021 because they really weren't playing each other. They'd only play each other like twice every 12 years, the way the ACC scheduling model had worked out. So when you get into bigger conferences like that, it does create other issues. But for the Mountain West, 3-4-4. And who are those three? I guess the biggest question is, who would those three automatic teams be on the USU schedule that you'd like to see? Would it be Boise? Would it be Colorado State, Wyoming? Those are your three closest opponents. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Or is it something different? We look at Nevada or New Mexico. Or I think that geographic considerations should play a factor, should play a role. I think that what is, from a conference point of view, a broadcasting point of view, what makes sense there? Does it make sense for Boise to be in a regular rotation on a regular season every year to face San Diego State and Fresno State? Probably. I mean, those are annually some of the best teams in the conference. And would Boise State have Utah State as its third team? Interesting to see how that could work. But that's not a bad model, really, what the ACC is floating. Back to our Guild Mortgage text line, 4474, I heart Cougars. Okay, we got a BYU fan in the audience. Okay. Well, you're going to have to go to Provo to watch their games. You can't see them when they come to Logan. It's just not going to happen anymore. 0513, we don't hurt BYU. They hurt themselves. I like that. Yep, BYU playing Utah State does not hurt BYU. Utah State, over the last 10 years, has been a bowl-eligible team almost every year, has been a top 25 team multiple times over that span, has been in a conference championship twice in that span. So Utah State does not hurt BYU on their schedule. Utah State's had a bad year here or a bad year there, but by and large, since their affiliation in the Mountain West Conference, Utah State has had a solid program. They've gone to bowl games. They don't hurt BYU by having them on the schedule. So I don't really see what's this loud group of BYU fans are trying to chant that it's such a bad thing to have the Aggies on the schedule. It's not. And it never has been since they've been in the Mountain West Conference. Well, never's not quite correct. There's been a year here, a year there that wasn't good. But for the most part, they've been solid teams. All right, a quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, we'll do a live look-in at what's going on with the baseball playoffs. Mountain Crest hosting Green Canyon, Bear River hosting Skyview, Ridgeline hosting Hurricane. All those games are being streamed right now on CashValleyDaily.com and on local radio. 104.5 The Ranch for Ridgeline and Hurricane, 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County for Bear River and Skyview, and 107.7 KLZX for Mountain Crest and Green Canyon. So we'll have that. We'll do some live look-ins coming up in just a few minutes. But first, just a reminder about Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They are open on Sundays now at 695 North Main in Logan. They're quick, they're clean, they're easy, and it's just how it should be when it comes to an oil change. So stop in today at Valvoline Instant Oil Change at 695 North Main in Logan.
Here's Chad Norton, the lawn doctor, with a tip for your lawn.
The way you water your lawn makes a big difference. Water restrictions and water costs have both increased over the years. Lawn Doctor is excited to introduce a new service that keeps your lawn green and healthy while watering less. One application of our new HydroGuard service reduces your water frequency by up to 1 day a week, saving you water and money.
Watering help, fertilizer, weed, and pest control. Call Chad Norton, the lawn doctor, at 753-LAWN. Follow them on Facebook or go to LawnDoctorCashValley.com.
Summer is just around the corner. Don't crank up your AC unit before getting it serviced. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning is the team you should call for quality on-time service. If your system needs replaced, think York. York has the best warranties in the business with affordable financing options. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
Comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Coverage of Region 11 Spring Sports continues on CashValleyDaily.com and local radio. Thanks in part to McDonald's, Great Basin Graphics, Old Grist Mill, Logo Shop, and Adams Wealth Advisors. On Thursday at 4 o'clock, the baseball playoffs get underway with Ridgeline hosting Hurricane on 104.5 The Ranch, Mountain Crest hosting Green Canyon on 107.7 KLZX, and Bear River hosting Skyview on 104.9 The Ranch. Baseball series continue on Friday, and Friday night, it's Mountain Crest versus Ridgeline Boys Lacrosse at 7. Follow the games on local radio and watch them on CashValleyDaily.com.
Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. At White Pine, we value compassion, integrity, and service. We are committed to serving you and treating your family as our family. We will be here when you need us most, to listen, to help, and to provide exactly what your circumstances require. At White Pine, we promise to dedicate our time and attention to you and your family. We invite you to come by and meet us. We're confident you'll feel a difference.
Don't get caught without power after a windstorm or a major winter freeze. Golden Spike Electric offers Generac backup generators so you can be prepared and keep your home warm while avoiding frozen pipes. Golden Spike Electric is one of the largest Generac dealers around, so you know it'll be installed right. Whether you're a homeowner or an electrician, contact Golden Spike Electric to rest easy the next time the power goes out. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 435-257-3016. They also service other models.
This is Nate Lamson with Valley Office Systems, your home team when local matters. Valley Office Systems is your local provider for all things office, copiers, printers, furniture, and document management. Proudly serving Cache Valley since 2007. Visit valleyofficesystems.com.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. As mentioned, we've got several baseball games going on right now. Coverage on CashValleyDaily.com. Mountain Crest hosting Green Canyon. Bear River hosting Skyview. And Ridgeline hosting Hurricane. I understand that there's some technical issues that they're trying to work through on that Ridgeline game. But let's do a quick look in at what's going on between Mountain Crest and Green Canyon. And it looks like Green Canyon on the board early is still in the first inning, and Green Canyon's up 3-0. This is Hurricane John Newbold and our good friend Ajay Salveson on the call in Hiram.
That's fine by A, but you got to snag it if you're Riker.
Yeah, now Riker had just talked to the pitcher right before that, so there may be a miscommunication on what he wanted. And the pitch is struck clear back. It's going to foul off, hits the net, so it'll be 1-1.
That's a good pitch by A. I like that. That's a gutsy pitch by A. That's confidence, right? Have confidence in yourself. Don't let the situation be too magnitude for you. Comes in with a fastball just in off the hands on the plate. I like that.
So 1-1 pitch, 1 out, 3-0 Green Canyon leading. Mountain Crest here in the bottom of the first. Up to bat is Nilsson waiting for the next pitch, a 1-1 pitch coming up here for Nilsson. And Nilsson rocks it to third.
Oh, don't want to go
and they
home.
throw to home, and he is sliding, but he's out.
Yeah, by a mile. You can't run on that. If that ball's to the right side of the field, you want to take off. But we're on a two-hopper to the third baseman. You can't go on that. That's just too easy. Too easy of a play. You can make that throw in your sleep.
So Nilsson gets the single, but now you've got runners at the corners as Rowley was tagged at home.
So now
all right, so that's a live look in at what's going on early in the game between Mountain Crest and Green Canyon. As mentioned, we got some other games that are taking place. One of the other ones that we want to check in on is what's going on with Skyview and Bear River. looks like the Bears on the scoreboard early in this one. And not Hurricane, but this is Rod Zundel on the call here. This game being played in Garland.
So Easton Potter doing a good job fighting off Watterson. It's now 2-0. At the plate now, Jet Roach, third baseman. Bases still loaded, 2 down. Roach from the left side of the plate. Here comes a pitch. In there for strike 1. If Jet could turn on one and get it going into right field, he might score 2 runs. Garrison Marble, Garrick Marble, and Easton Potter on the base pass. Swing! And popped up down the right field line, and again, that goes over the fence, out of play. He got under that one, but that was only about 30 feet from, that was straightened out from being over the fence. Granny would be nice here in the bottom of the first to get this super regional started. 0-2 the count to Jet Roach. Watterson on the mound, looks inside. Here comes the pitch. Swing on to second base. Larson can't hang it on to it again, and Bear River will score the 3rd run of the game.
Wow, so we got some early offense in some of these games. Green Canyon already with 3 runs in the first. Now Bear River has 3 runs in the first in their game against Skyview. Again, these games taking place on CashValleyDaily.com. And you can go check those out. The Bear River Skyview game broadcasting on 104.9 The Ranch in Box Elder County. And the Ridgeline and Hurricane game, looks like they're having a few technical issues on that one. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We hope to be able to get that one back soon. But we'll keep an eye on what's going on there with that game. But our crew is working on that, and it should be getting back up and running here very shortly. So keep an eye on that. And when it does, we'll do a quick look in for what's going on with the Riverhawks and the Tigers in a matchup between Region 10 and Region 11. So with that, we'll take a quick timeout here on the Full Court Press. Love to continue to get your feedback and reactions to some of the news today with BYU canceling their series with Utah State. And also a proposed scheduling model has been revealed from the ACC, doing away with divisions. Is this a model that the Mountain West should adopt as well? 3 automatic teams that you'll face every year, and then 4 teams that will mix in one year and then the other 4 the following year, called a 3-4-4 model in the Mountain West. Is that something that they should adopt as well? And if so, who would be those 3 automatic teams that Utah State should face every single year? I'd love to get your thoughts on our Guild Mortgage text line, 435-339-0321. Just to remind you that our good friends at Mountain West Motor invite you to help them drive change. You know, they're doing a great thing where they every month choose a different cause or organization to donate funds to a local nonprofit. And so when you get a vehicle there at Mountain West Motor, you also help drive change by helping those in need. So visit Mountain West Motor, explore your next adventure with a newly customized truck or SUV. Just visit mwmotor.com or stop by their new location at 615 North Main in Logan.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center have now moved from the Cache Valley Hospital to their new office location, 2245 North 400 East in North Logan, just south of the Cache Valley Hospital. Doctors Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette, along with the entire staff, welcome you to a brand new facility with more room and state-of-the-art equipment to help you and your family. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is now located in Providence and their new office at 2245 North 400 East in North Logan. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including Select Med, are accepted.
This is the big one. The annual Makita Demo Days at Industrial Tool and Supply is May 13th from 10 to 2. This huge event is held only once a year. Prices on Makita tools are at their lowest. Check out these Makita Demo Days specials, including blowout Makita Bear tools starting at $70. Batteries starting at $90. Free goods with purchase. Talk with Makita reps on site. Hurry, stock will be limited. You'll find what you need at Industrial Tool and Supply in Logan.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm.
With down-home country prices and big city selection.
E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot, hey, Old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm. Darrell's Appliance. Low overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Franson with you here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, the 106.9 The Fan mobile app, and 1069thefan.com. It looks like we've got our technical issues worked out. So we'll do a quick live look in at what's going on between Ridgeline and Hurricane. And looks like we're in the bottom of the second inning, and Ridgeline up 2-0. Dave Simmons and Nick Zollinger on the call on this one on Cache Valley Daily and 104.5 The Ranch.
It's the Hulk Hogan walk-in music that he played when he was in like the 80s.
You're a child of the 80s and 90s, aren't you?
I really am, yep.
Shoemaker's got a man on first and second with no outs, and Peyton Haslam looking to bunt. He pulls back, and Caden Miller was midway between second and third, and he has to scamper back to second.
Yeah, ball down in the dirt. Good job this time by – that's Baird behind the plate, right, for the Tigers?
Beard. B-E-A-R-D.
Beard keeping made
that is a
Caden
fantastic beard.
Yeah.
Do you use a beard balm or anything in that beard of yours?
No, it's not balmy enough. Hey, I got fans down low waving at me. Yeah, I got some fans here.
I would
all
pick
two
you
of them
as some sort of a beard oil guy.
No,
why not?
Not a beard oil.
You're a beard oil guy. I guarantee you've got some sort of balm
in
your medicine cabinet, and it says beard balm. I bet it keeps it nice and
supple.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to have a beard and you want to smooch from the old lady, you better keep it soft. You don't want to be smooching a Brillo pad.
Oh, little look like a bunt attempt there by Peyton Haslam as he pulls it back on the
3-0 now, though.
Yep, 3-0. Probably getting the straight take sign here by Coach Jensen, I'm assuming.
I would imagine as well. You think Og knows what he's actually doing over there with all those signs?
I think so.
I think he's just landing planes.
He does. Landing planes.
Pitches inside and
a pass ball.
That's not going to be enough, though, to get anybody home. But it does get
Load the bases.
Load them up. Peyton goes down to first. We've got Caden at third and Bodie at second now.
So that's what's going on with the Ridgeline Riverhawks. Now we got the Hurricane Tigers convening on the mound after loading the bases and Ridgeline up 2-0. Now, the way that these work in these baseball playoffs, there's potential. It's the best of 3 games. So it's a guaranteed game today. All these teams will play each other again tomorrow at 1, and if necessary, there will be a third game Friday afternoon at probably around 4 o'clock. What I don't understand is why don't we do 2 games the first day, and if necessary, the third game on the next? Because when you got travel considerations and hotel stays and buses, look, if a third game is necessary tomorrow, and and this is the Hurricane team or Logan down there, your game's not going to get done until like 6:30, 7 o'clock. You're going to load that bus up and go home that night. So you've got 2 nights, multiple nights, whereas maybe you only need the one if you do the 2 games first and then the third on the second day. So I don't really understand the format and why they're doing it this way. Why don't do the 2 games on the first day and the third game, if necessary, on the second? But I don't make the rules. I just get to complain about them. But if you want to weigh in on what's going on, or if you want to, on these things, 435-339-0321. If you want to check in on the games that are going on right now, we've got 3 games that we're covering on CashValleyDaily.com simultaneously. It's Bear River hosting Skyview. You can also hear it on 104.9 in Box Elder County. That's a long tradition that continues over there. We've got the Mountain Crest Mustangs taking on the Green Canyon Wolves. That's on 107.7 KLZX. John Newbold and Ajay Salveson on the call on that one. And then, as we just did a look in just a moment ago, Ridgeline hosting Hurricane with Dave Simmons and Nick Zollinger, also on 104.5 The Ranch. All right, shifting gears here momentarily. There was, and again, if you want to weigh in on the BYU thing, potential scheduling proposal that's out there for the ACC and how to schedule conference games, I'd love to hear from you on that, your thoughts as we get into that. But there was an interesting list that was put together, and there's organizations that do this about every year. But what I found fascinating is looking at the athletes that made the most money and the highest earning athletes. Who are they, and from what sports are they from? And so I found it really interesting. Sportico put together their top 100 rankings, and LeBron James, he moved up. He's number 1 overall at $126.9 million based on salary or winnings. Because if you're a boxer or a golfer, tennis players, you that's how you earn some of your money, is through your winnings, but also endorsements. So LeBron James came out on top at number 1, $126.9 million, player from the NBA. Then after him, you've got 3 players who are soccer players: Lionel Messi at 122, Cristiano Ronaldo at 115, and Neymar at 103, $103 million. Then Canelo Alvarez, who's a boxer, coming in 5th at $89 million. Then we add a couple more NBA players into the mix. Steph Curry at 86.2, Kevin Durant, 85.9. Roger Federer, tennis star, at 85.7. James Harden from the NBA at 76, and Tiger Woods at 73.5 in golf. So interesting that there are no NFL players in the mix there, that you've got 4 NBA players on this list, a boxer, a tennis player, and a golfer. So it's an interesting combination. It's an interesting mix. But the NFL is the richest league in America, and probably up there with other professional leagues in the world. It has the richest TV deal. It has some of the biggest stadiums, and valuations of franchises. But there's not any NFL player in the top 10. Now, Matt Stafford just missed out. Now, he did have a big signing bonus with the Rams. He actually comes in at number 11. He's the highest ranked NFL player on the list. but he made $73.3 million in the last year to go along with his Super Bowl win. But in that, once you get out of the top 10, then there's a big grouping of NFL players right after that. As mentioned, Stafford. Then there's Josh Allen, Tom Brady, and several other NFL players that are on the list. But interesting that the top earning players or top earning athletes, 4 of the top 10 are NBA players, and 3 are from soccer. As far as women that are on this list, tennis star Naomi Osaka, she was a top earning woman on the list at $53.2 million. Serena Williams at $35.3. She was the only other woman. So there's only 2 women in the top 100. So actually, that really surprises me that that there weren't more women represented on this list with their earnings. We just don't have high-profile female athletes at this very moment with what they do in their field of sport, but also endorsements and things off the field or off the court, as it were. So anyway, kind of interesting to see how that list came together, and that there are there's a lot of NBA representation in that top 10. 1534 says NFL, no guaranteed contracts. That's true. They have these big fat signing bonuses, so that can fluctuate year to year. But like endorsement deals, shoe deals, apparel, razor blades, cars, a lot of other endorsements that they can do. That's a big part of what LeBron James is in his earning potential has soared and pushed him into the number 1 overall. So I'm a little surprised that Tom Brady, as bankable as he's been and as long as he's been around, isn't a little bit higher on that list. But you're right. Guaranteed contracts and what they make in the NFL is a big part of it. All right, another quick timeout here on the Full Court Press. I want to come back and look at the NBA playoffs. A shocker last night. Another game that was fantastic and just really a missed opportunity for one team. Will we have more missed opportunities tonight, or will somebody close things out and move on? We'll take a look at the current standings and what's going on with the NBA playoffs coming up next here on the Full Court Press. But first, just want to remind you about Napa Auto Parts. Now, they do sponsor the Dan Patrick Above the Noise segment coming up at the end of our show. And Napa, they've got items that you're looking for. They've got the parts that you need, the parts that you use and rely on every day. Plus, Napa has some of those hard-to-find items as well. So they've got it in stock. And if it's not at the store you're at, they might have it at one of their other 5 locations, 5 locally owned locations between Preston and Providence. That's Napa Auto Parts.
How many years has it been since you were married? 1 year? 10 years? Longer? This is Jarek from Jarek's Fine Jewelry. No matter how many years it's been, you always remember just how you felt. Show her you love her all over again with something special from Jarek's. We can help you surprise her or bring her in and you can pick it out together. Maybe it's restyling the old ring or upgrading to a larger diamond that she just may have hinted about. No matter how many years it's been, let us help make it special on your anniversary.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Experts tell us that the 3 areas of balance for proper health are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. This is Ryan, owner of My Mattress, and while My Mattress store can't really help with exercise and nutrition, we can help with better sleep. If a person started today to live a balanced life in health, exercise, and sleep, 3 things might happen. 1, we might throw away the bag of peanut M&Ms that we have stashed. 2, we might get up off the couch and exercise. And 3, we'd come buy a new mattress here at My Mattress.
Elements has delicious lunch specials, 2 for $30, or the new soup, salad, and bread special for just $10. It's tasty and quick. Elements lunch menu is full of scrumptious items prepared with a personal touch. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite Munster burger. Casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9 p.m. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations today.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. Looking forward to turning 65? But the mail and the phone calls can drive you crazy. We can help. If you're considering working until full retirement age, let us compare your employer coverage to Medicare. You have choices. We will provide you with the information and assistance you need. Call 752-9493. Having a local agent makes all the difference, and there's no cost to you. Call 752-9493 or visit us at lssins.com.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer? Have you been looking at that boring blah wall in your home for far too long? You need to check out the Speedy Mason Thin Brick System at Castellite in Logan. It's a simple system that anybody can do to make a blah wall into a beautiful focal point. Refresh your home with some very affordable options at Castellite for brick, block, rock, paver, and tile. Go where the pros go. Online at castellite.com.
Interviews, analysis, and a little bit of fun mixed in. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in. By the way, we've got a couple of former Aggie football players headed to NFL rookie mini camps for this weekend. Jalen Bannerman, the defensive end, going to the Giants. Nick Henninger, he's headed to the Buccaneers camp this weekend. Devin Tompkins with the Buccaneers, he's also going to Tampa this weekend. Derek Wright with the Panthers. So we had a couple last weekend. Brandon Bowling was with the Bears last weekend. Carson Terrell was with the Packers. Savon Scarver was also with the Bears. So best of luck to these former Aggies trying to make a roster spot in the NFL. So best of luck to them. And keep an eye on what's going on there. 435-339-0321 if you want to chime in. And 5253 texting in. Did I miss something? Why does the show end at 5 now? Second hour is usually all I get to hear after work, and now it's just final thoughts and signing off that I get to hear. Can we get some details on this, please? Yes, fair question. It has been pretty routine for the Full Court Press to go as far as the Jazz go. Maybe a little bit farther with the full show. But as things start to wind down with local sports, connections to the Jazz, and the Aggies are out, high schools are almost done, that things get scaled down and scaled back a little bit. So it used to be that the Full Court Press would just go on a flat-out hiatus during the summer. But we're not doing that. We're staying with you and still having a show, still being committed to doing at least something every day. And so we scale it back from a 2-hour show to a 1-hour show through the summer, and it will gear back up again once we get into August when we've got the fall camps underway. You got high school football starting soon, NFL preseason, the Aggies back on campus for football. So we'll pick things up again in early August. So that's if you're new to the program and you've just been listening maybe the last few weeks or last couple of months, then this does sound a little bit different than what you've been used to. But this is kind of our tradition of how we've done things, to be committed to still do a show, but content is a little bit more limited this time of year. So. Speaking of content, the NBA has certainly delivered some great content. These have been great playoffs. Yeah, we've had a few games that have been kind of blowouts and stinkers, and certainly we had one of those last night, but it was fun in its own unique way. But we've also had some great games. Like this Boston and Milwaukee series started off kind of a snoozer. Each team had a blowout to get things started, but since every other game has been fantastic to the wire. Boston had opportunities to close that thing up and take a really commanding lead and give themselves a great shot to finish this thing up in the next game. But they didn't box out after a free throw. They let Clinton Portis get a tip in. Marcus Smart gets blocked by Drew Holiday, and he then knocks it out of bounds off of Smart. Look, just give the Bucks credit for what they were able to do. Giannis, he just knows how to find another gear and get dialed in the fourth quarter. 40 points, 11 boards for Giannis. Tatum had 34, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, he was impactful. He's been fantastic in the postseason for Boston. But certainly for Milwaukee, a big question for them is how far can they go without Chris Middleton? That's going to be a real key. They're finding a way, but it's been back and forth and back and forth. And in the other game last night, Grizzlies and Warriors, holy cow. That Memphis team just came out with their hair on fire. And once again, this is the second time they've done this in this series. They've made Golden State look old. They've made them look like the older team. Now, can they capture that and do it again at least 2 more times? I don't know, because John Morant's not going to be available for the rest of the playoffs. But my goodness, what a beatdown. At one point in the second half, had a 52-point lead. Just again, another great illustration is why I thought Taylor Jenkins deserved to be the coach of the year, because they've done this multiple occasions without John Morant in the mix and still play at a very, very high level. But last night, Jaren Jackson Jr. had 21. Tyus Jones had 21. Desmond Bane had 21 for your starters. Great contributions from a lot of guys off the bench, and just made Golden State look silly. And great defense, great energy, made life difficult for Golden State all night long. Nobody could really get going. Steph had a really rough night. Klay Thompson, a minus 45. A minus 45 on the plus minus. That's incredible. That is nuts. You do not see that every day. A minus 45. Now, tonight, it's real big key here. Will Philadelphia be able to continue and keep their series alive, or does Miami get this thing wrapped up? Same thing with the Phoenix Suns. Both will have to try to do it on the road. 76ers trying to keep things alive and get one more game, if not 2 wins. But the Mavericks also hosting, being down 3-2 in this series for the Suns. Game 1 is at 5 o'clock on ESPN in the Eastern Conference between the Heat and the Sixers. And then 7:30 tonight on ESPN are the Suns and the Mavericks squaring off. Philadelphia favored by 2. Phoenix favored by 2. Really, I think that the Heat 76ers game will come down to Embiid. What's his pain tolerance level? As we've seen, having him back into the series makes a big difference outside of the last game that they played, where Miami just totally dominated even with Embiid on the court. But he got hit in the face pretty early in the game and wasn't quite the same after that. But that's a great series as well. And Miami doing what they're doing with Kyle Lowry on the bench and not available. Pretty amazing. And then do the Suns take care of business and continue to attack Luka and go at him, put him on his heels defensively, and to make life difficult for his supporting cast. They're an interesting mix of veteran and youth. So I think that they're going to try to get this game done. They want to get this series over with. Miami and Philadelphia, a little bit older for both of those. So I'm having a hard time looking at all these teams thinking who really is the best team to come out of all of this that has the best shot to win the whole thing. Because before last night, I would have said Golden State's looking like they're in the pole position. But I have a hard time saying that now after what just happened to them. Phoenix might be able to put a stamp on it and put themselves above everybody else. How will they play? Miami also. But I don't know. I think it's been really fun. Even though the Jazz aren't in it, which is disappointing. I think it's been a pretty exciting NBA playoff so far, where most of the games have been competitive and intriguing and interesting. There's been hard fouls. There's been ejections. There's been some smack talk. And it's all part of playoff basketball that I love. One quick look at what's going on again in the final minute here on the show with baseball playoffs. In the third inning, Green Canyon leading Mountain Crest 3-1. That game's on CashValleyDaily.com. You can also hear it on 107.7 KLZX. Looks like a Ridgeline Riverhawks are just streaming past a Hurricane. Had a huge second inning, put a bunch of runs on the board. They had to do a pitching change. Last I saw, they were up like 6-0 in that one. And Bear River and Skyview underway, and Bear River leading the Bobcats in that one. All those games on CashValleyDaily.com as well as local radio. Go check that out. See the schedules. These games will play again. Teams will play again and face each other tomorrow at 1. And if necessary, Game 3 in the series will be Friday at about 4 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. There are very few players who can put a team on their backs in the NBA playoffs, but the Greek Freak is one of them. Last night, he powered the Bucks past the Celtics in a nail-biter. The Bucks now lead 3-2 with the series going back to Milwaukee. It's no secret Giannis is a superstar, but his performance in round 2 has been as impressive as it gets. The Celtics came into the series as one of the hotter teams in the NBA and one of the better defenses. That defense embarrassed Brooklyn throughout the first round. The Bucks are just as dangerous, but the team has been without All-Star Chris Middleton. That's put even more pressure on Giannis, and he's delivered, averaging over 28 points per game against Boston, and his play on the defensive end has been just as impressive. Still time for the Celtics to make a comeback, but Giannis's performance in this series has served as a subtle reminder. It doesn't always matter how deep your bench is. Sometimes all you need is one superstar. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.